Too hot for TV.
Welcome back to Doctor Who Too Hot for TV, another festive advent calendar edition. Today, I'm once again joined by Liam, artfully Liam, for another trawl through a Doctor Who annual story.
What can I say? It's a delight to be here at probably the most festive time of the year. I feel like Michael Caine in Muppet Christmas Carol.
You look like him.
Yeah, that's the long straggly hair and the fact that I'm having lots of felt on my hand. But that's just a lifestyle choice.
How do you feel about sponges?
Do you know what? As I said to my fourth ex-wife, great baths, not so great social constructs, but even better short stories.
Yes, especially if the sponge happens to be sinister.
Absolutely. As I've said in so many alimony cases, there's nothing quite like a sinister sponge.
So if we travel back to 1975 for the 1976 Doctor Who annual, we will find a story of the Sinister Sponge.
That's correct.
Featuring the fourth Doctor, Harry and Sarah, although you wouldn't fucking know it from the pictures.
No. This story was actually set in between, it's the Missing Adventure style, in between closing frames of the last episode of Disney Time, while the continuity announcer was having a piss.
So, have you ever read this story?
Do you know what? I'm gonna spoiler alert for the listeners here. So I actually I did. This has been one of my favorite short stories of the Doctor Who extended universe oeuvre, just because it's so fucking bizarre. Like, I as regular guys will know when I come on here, I have an illustrator artistic bent on there. Some of these illustrations are fucking unreal. The weirdest thing is you can see, the source reference image they've used. But some of them, fucking hell, completely towards the end of it, and this is not spoiling the plot for anybody.
I can do spoilers on the plot.
It's from 1976, I should fucking hope so. The fourth Doctor completely suddenly loses about 4 inches worth of hair, gets his jumper that he used for his photo call in 1974, and seems to be fucking carousing with April Walker's stunt double.
It looks like Louise Jameson, but a very unflattering Louise Jameson, at a point where it's supposed to be Sarah. And then Harry's in the background, he's got a tash, and I think he's smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, well, it's either that or he's been having a bit of the old bitey herb. But Tom just looks like some sort of predator. It's just unreal. It's the most unflattering photo you've ever known.
I mean, if the hat fits, no. Sorry, Tom. Sorry, Tom.
We love you, Tom.
Yeah.
Despite what the rumors say.
So what's this story about?
This story is about the fourth Doctor, Sarah and Harry, in the middle of their cosmic galactic adventuring, or should I say Doctor Who, Sarah and Harry, who decide they want to land on a planet, and a moment of setting out of the TARDIS in which Sarah is absorbed by the oily, gelatinous skin of the eponymous Sinister Sponge.
Yeah, exactly.
And the story is about the Doctor and Harry's attempts to retrieve their lost friend from the said gelatinous grip, and the tale of oppression that they encounter.
As always in these annual stories,
absolutely,
the Doctor meets a familiar friend who we've never met before.
No, but there was as will be the case in this extended cutaway here, there are some fabulous things. He meets an old friend called Elkalor.
Indeed.
And Elkalor, for some reason, in the middle of the story, for reasons unbeknownst to anybody, potentially even the author, suddenly encounters some sort of Frederick Jaeger transformation.
Yes.
It's the prose equivalent of becoming a Democrat from a Republican. You notice I went that way and not the MAGA way.
But he's described
yes, sir,
as being like bird-like, I guess, and has lost all his feathers and now is translucent.
Absolutely.
But the picture seems to be just of Tom Baker from the front cover of the Mutations VHS.
Next to a slightly kind of like John Friedlander, John Redwood mask.
So the art, you're an artist yourself.
Absolutely, sir.
How do you feel about the art within the story?
I mean, because the story is so fucking insane, you could say that the art completely complements it. But it's just from illustration to illustration, the pictures of Tom just are about enough to let you know that it isn't Gareth Hunt, but not quite enough to be actually comically accurate. And there's just some fantastically fucking bizarre decisions. Like, he's wearing his season 12 costume for most of the illustrations until the last frame, at which point he's wearing a fucking blazer.
Oh yeah, he's in his civvies.
Yeah, he's in it. He's just
off
going
down the colony.
Yeah, he's at the Coach and Horses. And Harry suddenly gets facial hair just by being proximity to the sponge, which, to be fair, we've all been there. And Sarah's absent from this story completely. She seems to be illustrated by Barbara Palvin in most frames. It's bizarre.
It's quite trippy and scary artwork. And I've done a number of annual stories from different eras. And it's the Tom Baker ones in particular, where like you really feel like the hallucinogens kicking in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just, creatives don't really work in a vacuum. And perhaps there's something in Tom's kind of anarchic, freewheeling kind of interpretation of the role that lends itself. You think, we can tell these fucking amazing, like offbeat, off-the-wall stories. Gareth Roberts satirized it with a beautiful, I think it was a short trip about the Fourth Doctor and Romana going to get some naughty slices of hay. And that was a tribute to this sort of thing.
Yeah, it would fit nicely in the
absolutely. We're working our way through Patisserie Valerie. Other bakeries are available.
Does it feel anything like the Sarah, Harry and Doctor we know?
No,
or the era?
No, not at all. But that's part of its beauty. The beauty, it's just taken place in some sort of, but then, to an extent, neither does Dimensions in Time. But it's just this kind of weird sideways kind of step into this sort of Doctor Who as written by John Lloyd and Ben Elton. We'll get into it, but there's some, what I like most about this story is like this, your cliched kind of old Irish kind of revolutionary who sits in his room. Is just so fucking, how fucking off the wall and politically fucking anarchic it is. And there's some real social commentary going on in here.
Hit us with it.
Well, I've said some bits. So there's a bit where Elkalor's talking about to the Doctor about how the terrible tragedy has befallen them. And if you'll excuse me here, so I brought in as a guest reader, it's only the 47th president of the United States, our dear old friend, the Donald, who's taken time in from St. Andrews today. And he put on there,
5 Earth camps after you left, all the males were stricken by a disease that caused all of our feathers to fall out and our flesh to become transparent.
Well, that happens to me when I go to Stroud.
One of the males discovered that one of the women had been harboring a giant sponge in the council hall.
Now, let's just park that for a moment. One of the males has discovered that of the female of the planet have been harboring a giant sponge in the council hall. That's a sentence that was never meant to be put together.
I don't know. It sounds a bit Star Trek to me.
It really does, except, to the best of my knowledge, Voyager never did an episode where they were like making weird kind of prophylactics in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah, very true.
And they were communicating telepathically with it. And when we objected to this, they drove us from the city with a ceaseless barrage of chattering and shouting, and my personal favorite bit, loud banging.
Not just banging, folks, loud banging.
I mean, it doesn't sound a million miles away from something Donald Trump would say.
Well, correct. It's like a cross between Donald Trump and adult work. It's just mental.
All it needs is something about Christian values thrown on the end. It's it goes against our Christian
My good
values.
friend David Lanny told me I can stay there next week and we're going to read from it together. No more questions.
But it turns out it's all been a bit of a misunderstanding. It's a bit of a cheeky sponge.
Yeah, the sponge is just mischievous.
It's a young sponge.
Yeah.
And sponges are born mad.
Yeah.
And learn sanity as they grow up.
Absolutely. Most like most toddlers in reverse.
In many ways, it's quite a deep comment.
This whole thing is a social commentary.
Yeah.
If I was, this is me going into something quite deep for what is effectively a very surface level 1976 annual story, but it's kind of a metaphor about adolescence. It's the Doctor and their influence having a positive effect on a mischievous, like slightly scamp, slightly scallywag adolescent, except the adolescent is a gelatinous sponge who's busy sucking Elizabeth Sladen into its grass.
We've all been there.
Which, to be fair, if you've watched the original cut of Downtime. Anyway, moving on.
I mean, it's a very slight story, like all of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just does not feel like Doctor Who.
No.
And it's like, it could be in any Boy's Own space adventure.
I remember one of my media studies teacher, he used to compare it. It gave me a very empty feeling, a bit like several of my formative relationships. But my media studies teacher used to say it reminded himself a bit of masturbation in the movies of Alan Parker. Fun while it lasts, but afterwards you wonder why you bothered.
Indeed, but bother we did.
But bother we did.
Is there anything else you want to say on it?
I encourage your audience to seek it out. If nothing more than it's a diversionary 5 minutes, and it's a damn sight more entertaining than using a colouring book and drawing a Schreiber shade.
Excellent. Well, look, that's another annual story, Dan. Thanks for joining me.
Pleasure, sir.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to all of you at home.
Doctor Who, too hot for TV.
Incidentally, a happy Christmas to all of you at home.